What do you do when you get off track? Not just with any goal, but specifically with your body. A lot of people, in fact, everyone needs to take care of their body. You've been blessed with a body, and if you don't take care of it, it doesn't get better. It gets worse, and you experience the horrors of aging in a frail, weak body. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. But even worse off, you lose the day. What do I mean by that? Time is of great value. No matter how wealthy you are, you only get a certain amount of time. And we can live a certain way. We can have a lifestyle that gives us more time or takes it away. So how do we get more time? Well, we kind of know, right? You're here, you're part of the program, you're a lion, a lioness. So you already know that what you eat affects your health. Not just your health, but your state of mind. In fact, food and nutrients affect things like mental health, like depression. What else does? Exercise, movement. So we know that if you train and eat and sleep consistently, you hydrate, and you have a good connection, you stay in love-based emotion, it stays longer, you live longer. But we're also here to grow. That's what life is about. One of the things anyway. And in order to grow, we must be challenged. So problems are opportunities to become more, to expand, to love and be our best even when it's not easy. That is the game of life. So what happens when we get off track? If you already know that it's important that you take care of your body, that you train in an intelligent way, not a random way and just randomly moving, because that won't produce the result. There's a science to this. So what happens? Let me explain. Success is never a straight line. So the simple answer is, what do we do when we get off track? It's to get right back on. But don't make the mistake of trying to make up for the past. And I used to do this back in the day. I used to miss a workout or something because, stress, whatever. And then I would do 2-a-days to make up for that lost time. Now, that sounds romantic, it sounds sexy, it sounds heroic. It's not, it's destructive. Your body can only benefit from what it can heal from, what it can recover from. This is called the stress recovery cycle. So doing more is sometimes produce the opposite result. Like when someone pushes, and they don't give their body the nutrients to rebuild and repair. And they don't get enough sleep. Or they have a lot of fear in their life. They call it stress, of course, right? The body can't repair. Because when you train, you actually damage the body. You challenge it, and when you challenge it, and then it heals stronger, with greater endurance, with more muscle, less fat. So it's this whole thing. There is no one thing that transforms your body. It is a combination of things. And training, nutrition, sleep, hydration, and mindset are the foundational aspects of it, which you already know. But we want to talk about what do we do when we get off track, but also how does it happen so we don't keep this cycle of being all in and all out? Because when you add it all up over a year or 10 years or a lifetime, you're out more than you are in. And so you're not getting the benefits. And when you're consistent with this lifestyle, the benefits are far greater than what you see in a mirror. In fact, that's just the cool side effect. The real benefit is the energy, the ferocity, the feeling alive, having every cell in your body, the trillions with a T of cells in your body radiating with energy, high voltage. And it's not like a spasmodic caffeine-induced energy. It is a potential energy, like it's there if you need it, when you need it, but you feel calm, cool, collected, and you're able to do what needs to be done. You don't have to will everything. So there's a beauty to this, but the thing is when we neglect our bodies for years upon years, we gotta be smart. There's the initial stage of training when you first start that your body's not used to. So most people do way too much when they first start, or they take off a period of time and they pick up when they muster up the motivation to get started again. They just do way too much at the beginning and they obliterate themselves. So the goal is to stimulate the body, not annihilate it. So challenge it and then give it the nutrients, the hydration, the sleep, the mindset to allow it to heal and repair and recover better than it was before. And so you can only challenge your body so much, and it can be counterproductive. Most people don't do that. Most people do too little. Now, here's the truth. Every day, your body keeps score. Sun up, sun down. That's called a circadian rhythm. That is like a game, and a day of your life is like a game. Did you win the day? So you may hear me say this in the app and so forth when I say win the day. What do I mean by that? Hey, did you give your body what it needed? Did you honor your commitments? Did you keep your word? Did you give? Did you serve? Did you fill your cup so that you could give more and enjoy life? Did you do things to improve today? And if so, yes, you're not going to have that every day. You're going to have days where you don't win the day. It's okay, I have them. But what do we do when we get off track? Now, what most people do is they beat themselves up. Now, as achievers, we tend to be pretty hard on ourselves. But being too hard on yourself can be destructive. We want to acknowledge our shortcomings and then strive to improve. Not be like, oh, what's wrong with me? Oh, I suck. And we usually do this on the inside. We don't say it out loud. Some people do, but most of us can catch ourselves. But we're saying on the inside, we have this inner judge, this inner critic, which around here we call the lamb, the fearful lamb. And fear destroys. Fear fatigues you. Fear uses more energy than it creates, where love-based emotional states generate more energy than it utilizes. So you really can't get tired when you're in love-based emotional states. I dare you to try to prove that wrong, because it's an impossibility, because no one has ever been in states of immense gratitude, joy, courage, determination, passion, peace, love, caring, and compassion, and felt, man, I am exhausted. No one's ever done that. And if they did, they weren't really in those states. I can promise you. There is a science to this. And so what do you do when you get off track? Well, we start telling a different story. You see, we think in pictures, moving pictures. Oftentimes we're not aware of them. We're not conscious of them. But if you become more present and you start thinking like, hey, what am I thinking about right now? What am I focused on? What story am I telling? You start to notice what you're seeing in your mind's eye. Now, some people hear more. They're more auditory. Some people are more kinesthetic. They feel more. And some people are seeing the pictures. It's very easy for them, where other people, I promise you, everyone has them. It's a matter, are you aware of them? Because it is a skill, because we tune them out. We're never encouraged to learn these things when we're younger. So it's a skill we have to relearn a lot of times. But it's easy to do when you know how important it is, because it becomes a priority. So when we stop training, we change our story, and that changes what's important to us. What's most important to you today? So for me, I have a story about training. My story is, hey, I train not so I can look a certain way. I train so that I can improve my mind and body in a way where I can access my highest and best self, summon my higher self. That's what I say, summon the lion. So it's a daily ritual. It's a sacred act, a spiritual process of calling forth who the Creator made me to be, so that I can better give and serve and have a life of no regrets. That's a story which has allowed me to not miss a training session in over a decade. Why? Because if I don't train, I'll lose my mind? No, because I know the value of it. if every day, if you trained, you got some great reward, right? Or you saved the lives of 1 million people every day you trained, would you ever miss a training session? And these are people that you know and see and love and adore. If that was the case, so in that situation, your story has to change because there's a greater meaning. It's bigger than you. So we need a higher purpose. We need a story that will get us to follow through for our benefit and the benefit of everyone we love, serve, and appreciate. Now, most people train because they don't feel like they're enough. And if they're not enough, they won't be loved. They won't be appreciated. They'll be kicked out of the tribe and they'll die. Because it wasn't that long ago, if you weren't in a tribe of some sort, it was very difficult to survive. I don't know if you ever went camping by yourself. I have done this. And you have to get your own, every day is about the surviving, about getting food, shelter, staying warm, and being safe, being protected from the elements and creatures. And so it comes down to these stories we tell. And we tell these stories in pictures in our minds, moving pictures. Now, when we have a goal about, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm just going to make this up, right? This is just a random thing. I want to lose 20 pounds. Then you ask somebody, like, why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Well, so I feel better. Why would that make you feel better? The number on the scale is just lower. What does that change? Well, and then people can't answer it because they never thought beyond that. And that is why most people don't follow through. They don't change their story. They don't change the picture. They're not aware of what they're thinking. They don't know why they're doing it. They just have some sense that I need to do this, and if I do that, I'll feel better. But what's the real truth? They want to feel better. Why do you want to feel better? Like, I don't feel like I'm enough. So if I do this, I'll feel better. Then I'll feel like I'm worthy of life's rewards. Now, this is the basis of practical psychology. This has been taught for over a century. I think the first time I ever read it was William James, who is known as the father of modern psychology. And so Tony Robbins, of course, you all know, teaches this in his first program, the introductory program. It is that important. So if we're not fulfilling our needs of feeling like we're enough and being loved, then it's going to change our behavior. So we want to have a story where we're already enough. We were placed here for a reason and a purpose. It's not by accident. And we're here to be love. We're here to be loving. We're here to give, to serve. And what we do makes a difference. Our life makes a difference. And it does, because we're all connected. We're all in this together. And so this may be getting a little esoteric because this is a fitness program. This isn't a fitness program. This is a program of self-mastery. And self-mastery is really raising your consciousness level, your awareness. And as you become more aware, as you learn more information, like how the body works, like just the stress recovery cycle. If you don't know that, people would think more is better. And then what do? They do too much. They will quit because of frustration or just injury because their body can't heal. And so they start getting these nagging aches and pains all the time, and they don't know why, but we'll use willpower and just hammer it out. But that doesn't work. You got to change your approach in that case. So you may have an ineffective strategy. You just keep hammering it out. You're not making adjustments. Or you don't have the mindset to carry it through. And so when you get off track, the answer is to just pick up where you left off. It's not to overwhelm your body and then injure yourself or just do way more than you need to achieve the goal. You need to stimulate the body. So there's a science of this. Like, you want to train all the muscles in your body, because if you don't, if you fall in love with this exercise you're good at and that you like to do, you're going to create imbalances, and that changes your posture, your structure. And then sometimes that creates pain, and sometimes even chronic pain. And so that's one of the things. So we want to just get back on track. That's the simple answer. Success is never a straight line. And thank God it isn't. Because if it was, it wouldn't be exciting. It wouldn't be worthwhile. It wouldn't be as valuable. We want the challenges and our beliefs about challenges, about problems. When things don't go your way, how do you respond? Do you go into poor me? Oh, why is this always happening? You become the victim? Or do you say, hey, there's something here for me. There's something here that will serve me and allow me to go to the next level so that I can be a greater blessing in the lives of others, which will make me feel so good and give me more energy and give me even better ideas of how I can make the world even more awesome, right? So what do we do when we get off track? One, don't beat yourself up. Don't go into the lamb. Just be like, I'm human, and sometimes this happens. Why? I'm just going to get back on track. That's the first step. And let me step back. What was the story I was telling? What happened to change my story? Because I was doing so great. And so we lost focus. Now, when something happens in life, life is full of challenges. Like maybe something did happen. Maybe someone close to you passed away. Is that a time not to train and take care of yourself? Well, when my dad died in a car accident when I was 25, it was shocking because my dad was a beast. He was in Special Forces in Vietnam. He was a fighting champion. He was a professional fighter, even in his late 40s. And he passed away, and he was like in his mid-50s. And he was a larger-than-life figure to me, and I loved, admired, and respected him so much. And I get a call, and your dad's dead. Now, I want to be there for my family, especially my mom and my sister. And they're different than me. And so I happen to have more tools. So I'm the leader. I need to be responsible to hold this space for everyone, to let everyone know it's going to be okay. I don't need to say it, but I will embody it as I walk in the room and I communicate with people. And that was my responsibility, but it wasn't easy. I had to wake up and train. I remember running in the morning, doing push-ups, and I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to see anyone I knew because I didn't want to start crying in the gym. I just wanted to be present and stay centered and be who I really am so everyone knew that, hey, this is life. Let's celebrate this man that added so much to our lives and the lives of others. Let's not just make it sound like it's the end of the world, because this could happen to anyone any day, so let's honor life. I think that's important, but a lot of times we go into the lamb and we just fall apart. And it's okay to fall apart sometimes, but not stay there, not to the point where it affects others. We need to take responsibility for 3 things in our life: what we think and speak, our emotional states, and our actions and inactions. So, for instance, it's okay to get angry and pissed off, but if you go to the point where you harm others, or you run someone off the road because of road rage, or you hit someone even, that's crazy, right? That is too much. So what do? We need to know that, hey, these things are not okay. And so we want to be able to tell this story in advance. Hey, if this ever happens, like if you want to change road rage, right? You want to say, hey, I remember one time I got really upset and I started yelling and doing all this stuff. But you know what? That wasn't me. And I was embarrassed by myself. And so instead, if that ever happens again, I'm going to tell a different story. Did that person wake up and plan, premeditate them cutting me off and me having to slam on the brakes? No, it wasn't intentional. Even if it was, that's not a good story to tell because your response isn't going to be good. So what do? You say, you know what? They may be going to the hospital. Maybe they just got terrible news. Or maybe they're addicted to drugs. Or maybe they're drunk. There could be a million reasons where you could understand why they did it. It doesn't make it right, but it allows you to be more resourceful so you don't make a situation worse. And while it's really challenging, one of the most important things I believe in life is to see yourself and others accurately on a soul level, like as their highest and best self. Like, hey, at one point, like I always do the baby game. So if someone's, just act in a way where they're trying to hurt people and be manipulative and stuff like that, I want to see them through as a baby. Because every baby, you can't get mad at a baby. You can't be like, stupid baby. That's funny. but what it is That helps you shift your story. So I'm sharing this because the reason we get off track is we change our story. And I'm not saying we're not going to get off track, but what happens is most people get off track and they beat themselves up and then they stay off track. Or they do way too much because they're like, oh, I messed up, I got to make up for it. And if I don't make up for it, I'm not enough. And then they create this whole cascading downward spiral of destruction. And all this affirmation that you are less than you really are. And this is how we make the mistakes in our life. And I've done it, I'm sure you've done it, everyone's done it. It's part of the human experience. But self-mastery is learning how to correct it. And we first do it with our mind, because everything first begins in the mind, in the theater of the mind. Like if you have a great discovery, an invention, in your mind, you have seen it in your mind. You have run through different scenarios, and then you test it in the real world. You create a prototype. You test that prototype in different conditions. Then you start to have other people collaborate and challenge your invention, your idea. And so that is how we do this. But we do this with everything. So when we get off track, what do? We get right back on. And we don't do more than we need to. We stimulate the body, we look back, learn from our mistake, and do our best not to keep repeating it. Paulo Coelho, who wrote The Alchemist, has a great quote that says, "A mistake repeated more than once is a decision." And those words really ring true for me, because if we are intelligent, and we are, then why would we keep repeating the same mistake? It's not acceptable. So the standard, a great standard to have, a great rule to live by is like, hey, I'm allowed to make mistakes, but I can't keep making the same mistakes. Get creative and make different ones. So the big thing is, for achievers, we can tend to take it too far, because humans are extreme, all in, all out. That's extreme. So what do? We need to be imperfect, because perfection does not exist. You can't be perfect. So we are here to learn and grow. Really, you can only fail as if you totally give up, right? And it's okay to get off track at times, but you can't get stuck to where it affects your health, your energy, the way you treat yourself, and the way you treat others. Life is short and it's precious. So the longer we're off track, the greater our regret. Because there'll be a point in life where you'll want that extra hour. You'll want that extra day. And I think we've all been there. So how do you make sure this doesn't keep happening? Well, there are questions you want to contemplate, and take paper to pen and answer them, or turn on your recording on your phone and record yourself thinking it through out loud, and go back and listen to it. And so you want to make sure your goal, your vision, what we would call your North Star, and your level of determination or level of commitment are aligned. So a lot of times people are very optimistic, which is beautiful. And what happens is, like, I'm going to be in the best shape, I'm going to be shredded, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And they have this grand vision. And then they're like, oh, I'm traveling, so I can't work out. That's absurd. So your level of commitment is pretty low. That's dabbling. You're just not going to get there. There's nothing wrong. If you don't want to train, don't train. It's your choice. Ultimately, it's your body, and you have to deal with the consequences. And you don't have to be perfect. But don't say you want to do something. Don't tell a story like, this is what I'm going to do, and not follow through. Because every time you say you're going to do something and you don't, a little piece of you dies. What does that mean? Your subconscious mind records everything. That's why you can put someone in hypnosis and they can recall things that they can't in a conscious state. So when you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, it's recorded for eternity. And so the first time that happens, not a big deal, but they start to accumulate. And then you get to the point where you say, I'm going to do this, and the subconscious mind says, no. Yeah, right, that's funny. So you start to believe in your own in yourself and your abilities, your capabilities, less. So you start to live in a box. There's less opportunity, less possibility because of this story that's playing in the background. Because so many times I have optimism or just high emotional states that I'm going to do it, and you don't do it. Keeping your promises to yourself expands your identity. And your identity is what makes you do what you do. The more is expanded, the better life is. The more opportunities, the higher the possibilities. That is a little thing that makes a big difference. So is your goal, your North Star, and your level of determination, your level of commitment, what you're willing to do, are you willing to pay the price to get to that vision? If you're not, change your vision, change your goal. There's nothing wrong with lowering it if that's just something you don't want to do, right? It's your life, decide that. But don't lie to yourself and say, I'm going to do all this, and then not do it. Because it will have a profound impact on the quality and the impact of your life, because it will change your story. What does that do to the people that look up to you? Your friends, your family, your children. What do? They're going to emulate you. They don't learn by what we say usually. They learn by watching us. And then if they lose belief in you, if you lose belief in yourself, they lose belief in you, and that's primal. That's on a subconscious level. So these are little things that you have complete control over, that you can take command and master to change your story, expand your identity so that you create life the way you desire to be. But we first got to get clear on it. So I want to leave you with a question to contemplate. And feel free to share what you say. You don't have to. But this is a profound question that may not seem like one. What would have to happen for you to skip your training session? What would have to happen for you to not train? Just be like, yeah, I'm not going to do it today. Now, a lot of people will tell a story and say, I'll do it later. And then, it doesn't happen. Then they're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and just keeps getting pushed back. And they feel better because they didn't just say no. They didn't say, I quit. No, you gave up. Just make it what it is. Don't lie about it. And I think this is part of being a human, though. Like, this is something we have to overcome, because we want to say yes to things. But saying no is also important. Now, everyone in here that's listening to this, you are an extraordinary soul. I'm not just saying that, because most people in the world, they couldn't hear what I'm saying. They would get angry or frustrated or irritated, or they would resist. We need to be open and hear it and then test it for ourselves. So don't just listen to me blindly. Find out for yourself. But don't just try it once. Really give it your full attention so that you can grab the lesson from it. And then you can enhance your own skills, talents, your own capabilities, and really benefit from this. So make sure you take the time, invest the time, and ask yourself, what would have to happen for me to skip training? Then ask yourself, what is my level of commitment? What is my level of determination? And does it align with my goal? What is my goal? What is my North Star? And be specific. Those three questions. What is your goal, your North Star? The purpose, why are you doing it? What is my level of determination? You can go from 0 to 100%. And find out what that is. And then say, what would have to happen for me to skip training? What would have to happen for me to break my promise to myself? All right, my friends. This is an important conversation, one that I hope benefits you greatly. I hope you grasp it and you get your hands dirty with it, because if anyone deserves the best in life, it is the heart-driven leaders that are in here listening to this. As always, I love and appreciate you, and I'm here to serve, and I know you are too. No lambs, only lions in here. Until next time. Victory!
You tap into the real you, but you have to retrain yourself. The way you retrain yourself is you wake your ass up in the morning and you say, I am here for a reason and a purpose. And it's bigger than my moods. It's bigger than the difficulties of the day. I am here to live like a lion, not the fear of a lamb.